There are many places on the internet where people talk about Zen. I know because I'm a member of a few of them. And sometimes it's very good talk, and sometimes it's just talk, talk, talk. And I thought this was a danger, especially for a Sangha like ours that is mostly electric, meeting across the world and communicating much of the time in written form in our forum. So I asked myself what we can do to help that a little bit. And I came up a few years ago with the request, before you come to chat, please have sat. I thought that was witty. Sat before chat. And I think it kind of works. Just sometime in the previous 24 hours, one turn of the world, have sat zazen, and then come. And then I thought, let's make this a group effort. The inspiration, I got to tell you, was, I don't know if they have this in other countries, but it was, I think, voting season in America. When you go vote, they give you a little lapel sticker that says, I voted. And I suppose there's a little bragging rights in there, but I think the purpose really is to encourage others to vote, because that's what keeps the system together, you know. It doesn't ask who you voted for. It doesn't tell you who to vote for. It just says, I participated. You should too. And with that in mind, we post a little sat. It's not about you. There's very little to brag about. For one reason, we don't ask how long you sat. You could have sat for the entire 24 hours. You could have sat for 24 seconds. That's in your heart. We leave that to you. You determine what you did or did not do. You do what's right for you. But we ask before you come that you put a little sat in your posts, not for you, but to encourage others and remind them. You notice this is very intentional. It doesn't say I sat. It just says sat today. We could even leave the today out of it because it's so timeless, but sat today, not I sat today. I reminded you a few weeks ago that this entire practice is not for you. People come because they want something from it. They want to get something out of it. They want a little payoff. But the way we practice, we drop the thought of I, and my, and what do I get out of it? And sit in completeness for all sentient beings. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to get something out of it. Don't get me wrong. It's okay. We all benefit from this sitting, but we do so by dropping that I, me, my, and just sitting for all sentient beings. So when you post sat, if you think it's you bragging about something you did, you're misunderstanding. It says we sat for all sentient beings. And likewise for this new request I had this week, we did it kind of as an option for many years. But now I thought, let's try it out. Once a day, post lend a hand. It doesn't say I lent a hand, it's we lent a hand. Some folks complain to me that it's kind of a bragging, it's, what do you call it, virtue signaling. I thought how can we get around that? And I came up with this solution. We don't ask what you did. That's up to you. Only you know. You could have put 1 penny in the poor box, or saved a busload of children, or cured cancer, and you get 1 law, all the same. It's just up to you. But the purpose is to remind you and all of us that we stay focused on making this world a little better. We say once a day, but you can do it many times a day. And it's up to you again. We don't ask what you did, like we don't ask who you voted for. But you encourage others when you put law. It's not about you. You're signaling very little by putting law, I tell you. And I suppose that one day you will put a penny in the poor box, and the next day maybe you will have your chance to save the busload of children from the burning bus. That's wonderful. And we'd like to hear about it. So we have this system called Gojo Bodhisattva. Gojo means mutual help, helping each other, in which you can report a story about something you did. But again, it's not about you. You're the least of it. The giver, the receiver, and the act of giving are one, but in this case, we put a little emphasis on the receiver and the giving, not the giver. But why do we want to hear your story? Again, your name doesn't go on it. You get no credit for it. You tell your story to inspire others. Hey, guys, I came up with this idea. You can hand out blankets in winter to the cold, to the homeless. Great, you can do it too. I did it in my community. Who are you? We don't care who you are. But the act of giving blankets, that's a good idea. Maybe I should try that. Or, hey, thanks to this, I saw a burning bus and I saved some kids. I would have done it anyway, even without law, but I'm touched. It's a beautiful story. Let's hear about it. We don't want to know who. We want to know what. I think it's a good system. Because once a day, we want to be reminded at least. Really, we want to be reminded all the day. But at least once a day, let's turn and think, how can we make this world a little bit better? Crazy Jundō always wants to make this world better. I did a calculation. I think I got 10 to 20 years left on this planet, if I'm lucky. I might get hit by a bus this afternoon, so my estimate may be way long. But however long it is, I keep coming up with crazy out-of-the-box ideas to solve all the world's problems. You may have seen my proposal last night to finally solving this Middle East thing once and for all. Frankly, I think it's a pretty good suggestion, but that's beside the point. I'm helpless to solve that problem. I'm helpless. No one's going to listen to my idea. So we can't always solve the situation in the Middle East. Most of what we do is close at hand, in our community, in our family. That's good. Dream the big dreams and act close by. Wonderful. That's law. You know, if you do a tiny thing, you pick up a single piece of trash on the road, you never know the karmic effects that might lead to. Who knows? It might somehow set off causes and causes and causes and effects and effects and effects, and you're picking up that piece of trash might be what triggered the peace in the Middle East. Who knows? This is a crazy world. But in the meantime, you do what is close at hand. You take no credit for it, and it's all law. And we've had people say, well, I have a physical disability or I'm in the hospital, I can't do anything. I said, sure you can. What can I do? They said. Well, I said, when the nurse comes in, give her a little extra big smile today. That's La. If you can't even do that, think a good thought in your heart for the world, even if you're the only one who hears it, and that's La. If you get a chance to save the kids from the burning bus, do that. If you get a chance to pick up the trash, do that. If you get a chance to solve the Middle East situation, do that. If you get a chance to offer a smile to the nurse, do that. Do what you can when you can. You get no credit for it. It's not about you. It's not virtue signaling. It's all of us together saying that we're in all of this together. First we sit Zazen. That has effects too. Then we lend a hand, or at least do our best. And then, if you want to later, you can come for the blah, blah, blah after the la, la, la. I like that, when I make those little rhymes there. Okay, I will count this talk as my La contribution today. Let's sit.